So if you're someone who's ever felt uncomfortable with putting yourself out there in a social sense, when it comes to making plans or deciding to contact someone or hit someone up to see what they're doing, to see if they'd like to spend time together, or whether it's taking a chance on someone new, speaking to someone who could be a potential friend, if that makes you uncomfortable, if you have thoughts of, am I just going to get embarrassed? Is this all going to end in rejection? Do they actually want to spend time with me? Am I wasting my time here? Then this video is for you. Man, lately this has really been hitting home for me. Because as I'm recording this, I'm literally feeling anxious about this decision that I've got to make, but I wanted to come on here as normal and just talk it through. So it's my birthday coming up. I'm turning 24, and maybe you'll relate to this. I'm very introverted, and I do have a lot of anxious tendencies that I've gotten quite good at concealing as I've gotten older, but they're still there. This shit doesn't go away. I've had to find ways to work around it. And I've never made a big deal out of my birthday. I've always acted like, I only want to spend time with a small group of people. I don't really like making myself the centre of attention. I've always opted for a more low-key kind of birthday party. I often just don't tell people when it's my birthday. I just don't like it. I don't like being the centre of attention in that way. I don't like being put on the spot. Bro, even when someone brings out a birthday cake and it's anyone but my family, or, when I was younger, even when I was fucking 8 and the class would sing happy birthday to me, I never liked that. I never liked that shit. Everyone just looking at me and you having to go through the whole happy birthday song with everyone looking at you and just the discomfort of that. But now I'm kind of getting to an age where I've been lucky enough to have been invited to a lot of birthday parties this year. My social circle's expanded a lot. I've made some new friends, and I'm kind of lucky enough to have been... I'm blessed to be surrounded by people that I actually do like and care about, because that hasn't always been the case. And I'm kind of left in this position where I think I should probably have a bigger kind of birthday party or event. And I'm just fighting this anxiety. I'm kind of wrestling with the decision right now. Because in the past, even when I've had a group of friends, I've opted for something small, maybe 1 or 2 people, and just ignored the rest of them, which never felt good. But I think deep down, I'm always worried, and what's really worrying me now is I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to invite a big group to my party and no one is going to be interested. I've been wrestling in my mind with this decision to create a group chat on Instagram, put 15 people in it. And I just kind of have this, I'm visualizing the worst case scenario where I just get aired, where no one responds and I kind of get humiliated in public, I guess. I'm getting anxiety just thinking about it, man. And it feels this is all tied to something from the past, because it's something I like to talk about on this channel. Most of the anxiety we feel in any given situation is not linked to our current experience, what we're going through now. It's linked to the past. Anxiety is our body's way of protecting us from some kind of negative emotion, from shame, from embarrassment, the things that I'm talking about. But the thing is, I can't predict the future. I don't know what's going to happen when I make this group chat. I can't say that I'm going to get embarrassed. So what my body is looking to is the past. It's past experiences of rejection and humiliation, times when I was made to feel like just fucking worthless, really. And that doesn't go away. All of that gets stored by our nervous system and it keeps bubbling up. A lot of us are just constantly repressing these feelings, yet sometimes they come through the surface on occasions like this. Yeah, I think what this is all tied to is just experiences in the past where I was really lonely. Times in school, man, where I had no friends. I was very unpopular for a time. No one wanted me in their friend group. For the first 2 years of high school, I was just friendless, man. Just moved to a new area, moved 200 miles south, had no friends in school, bro. Then kind of bounced around different friend groups, just inevitably getting like tossed out by all of them, each one at a time. Constantly being undermined, the butt of their jokes, but not being able to stand up for myself because I was just afraid that I would get kicked out. Man, this group chat thing, like getting specific, I remember the group that I thought were my friends, even though they didn't treat me that well. In high school, I was getting kind of insecure that I'd look at other groups around the school and I'd see them hanging out outside of school. Me and my friends never did that. And if they did, which I suspect they did, they weren't telling me about it. So I remember my dad suggesting to me that I would invite them around to our house and we do like a little camping trip. We're just going to set up a tent in my garden and just have like a camping trip. And I thought, similar kind of situation to right now, I'm going to put myself on the line. Let's see what happens. Best case scenario, have a good night with my friends, crack open a few beers and just have a good time. I put this message in the chat and every one of them saw it. This was like 4 guys, bear in mind, but all of them saw it within a day. And none of them replied. They all just aired me. One replied about 3 days later, just like politely declining the invitation. The rest just didn't even bother to reply. So it's no wonder I still have these anxious feelings. Bro, that was years ago. But we don't move on from these experiences as easily as you'd think. That's kind of what my body, my nervous system is looking to when I feel this like fear that people are just going to air me. But that's the thing, man. School is a brutal time. And like, whether we like to admit it or not, most people have like some form of like repressed trauma or anxious feelings from that period of their life, because that's when our brains are still not fully formed and they're so sensitive to like these experiences. People literally making life decisions right now or not making certain decisions. They're feeling fear based on shit that happened to them when they were like 5 years old. Like their teacher yelled at them. And that fucking, like, you wouldn't believe this shit, but this can actually like affect you for life. Those experiences we go through when we're still developing. I suppose so far this video probably hasn't helped if you're someone in my position who, you are kind of afraid to put yourself on the line. But man, that's what this is about. I don't want to say I'm fighting against it, because I don't want to fight it. I want to accept these feelings as normal. It's someone who's gone through my set of experiences. This shit is completely normal. I am scared, and that's fine. But it's important to acknowledge I'm not reacting to what's in front of me now. And the two situations I'm in, they're different. I am surrounded by good friends, good people with good morals, good intentions, and that wasn't the case back then. And my brain and my body are still trying to protect me from the people who did damage to me when I was younger. The solution isn't to fight all these feelings, to push them away. It's to accept them, but then healthily acknowledge that, I'm not in danger anymore. I guess in the way of solutions, the one thing I'm going to tell you, and this is what I intend to do, because I could just say, ignore the feelings, I'm going to make the group chat anyway. Is that going to help? maybe it would, but I don't believe we overcome anxiety and those deep-rooted fears through this like all or nothing approach. Sometimes I do throw myself in at the deep end and it helps. Other times you can come out more traumatized than before. You can come out more scared. So what I would say we do, what I'm going to do, instead of throwing myself in at the deep end, just going to dip my toes in, whatever that looks like. Just take some baby steps towards this objective. And what that looks like for me, and I'll try and think of how to apply it to some different contexts as well, is instead of just making that group chat right away, because I will make it, I'm gonna ask around like 5 friends or something. 5 people is probably the minimum amount of people I'd want to come to my birthday. And I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna ask him straight up, I'm doing this, maybe like my 5 closest friends. I'll ask them. And once I know 100% that they're coming, and I can relax a little bit, you know, my birthday isn't gonna go to shit, even if the other people say no, it's not gonna go to shit, I've got my 5 closest friends coming. That's when I will make this group chat. And I'll be able to do it like 50% less anxious. And stop stressing about this whole thing. Or at least that's what I'm hoping. But this has worked quite well for me in the past. It's like, I don't have to fully commit. I don't have to do like the most extreme thing. But what's something small that I can do now? So in terms of situations I've been in the past where I've been in doubt about putting myself out there, you know, it could be things like, you know, do I take a chance on speaking to this new person? Maybe I'm at a party or something. I'm creating like a fictional scenario here, but maybe I'm at a party. Maybe I'm in doubt over whether to speak to someone new or just stick to my little friend group. This person might reject me. They might be a cunt, you know. I'm never going to know unless I talk to them. But do I need to put pressure on myself to be their best friend, or for them to become my best friend, or like, you know, have a whole hour long conversation with them? Or can I just do the small thing? Can I just walk over, give them a compliment, introduce myself, and not put any pressure on myself to do any more than that? Just have like a small exchange and see if I like them. You know, see if I like them. That's what it should all be about. Do I like this person? Are we compatible as friends? I don't have to expect the world of myself. What's the bare minimum I can do? If me and this person get on very well, and I'm worried about like, you know, do they actually like me? Do they want to actually be my friend? Are we going to hang out ever again? Instead of thinking about all that, everything down the future, just going to ask for their contact details and see what happens from there. Not put any pressure on myself for like the relationship to develop from there. Just get their contact details, say, hey, you got Instagram? 1 sentence, that's it. These are all anxieties I've had in the past, these quite specific things. But in any situation, just ask yourself, like, what's the small thing I can do? Like, what feels manageable? What's going to help me feel better about maybe taking that like big leap later on? Sometimes it doesn't even help to think about that far ahead, but just what's one small thing I can do right now? Kind of exposure therapy, working our way up to that like bigger target, bigger goal. So I'll update you guys on how it goes. I'm going to make this group chat either today or tomorrow, depending on the buy-in I get from my friends. We'll see. Take care, man.